What's good, everybody? It's your brother Mad Black, the most dangerous, most toxic black man on the internet, and I'm black up in your face again with some pro-black commentary. There's been a lot going on in the media with a lady named Tabitha Brown, and she is a vegan chef and a writer. I think she's also developed her own fashion line, and she has her own show on the Food Network called "Is Complicated," where she just uh, has some food contestants or some chefs make different vegan meals. Like they'll give them like a premise for like a dinner or like a dessert or something like that, and they have to use vegan ingredients. And they always have to follow certain rules during every round, almost kind of like Chopped, but it's centered around Tabitha Brown's idea of still making good, tasty meals, but also vegan and very healthy for people, because that's what she's done. So if you don't know who Tabitha Brown is, she's done a lot like over the years. Like she's, uh, like I said, written books. She's very well promoted herself on social media and showcasing how you can make healthy meals and stuff for your family. And I've always appreciated her. Like my wife buys her books, and my wife is the one that got me into watching her show on Food Network. So I've always appreciated this woman, and she has a very natural style. She wears her hair naturally, and she wears a lot of African or Afrocentric garb. She has a very down home disposition, the way she talks and everything. So that's why Food Network decided to have her on their network, because she already had an audience, and she had already like an established personality both on social media and all of her different platforms and different content that she creates. So Food Network had her on there, but now they've decided to kind of start shifting and messing around with her view time on Food Network. It used to be on prime time, but now they want to move it to in the afternoon sometime, where when no one can actually sit and watch it. And this is typical of a lot of these white networks. They claim they want you on their network, or they claim they want to be diverse, and they're so liberal and everything else. They want to put up Black Lives Matter when there's a riot out there, but when a black person is actually on TV, they do everything to sabotage that black person's show, right? And like I said, this is nothing new. This going on from every network you can think of, from regular TV to cable to everything else. And Tabitha Brown has come out recently and said, they keep wanting me to kind of change the way I talk or change the way I look, but this is who I am. I'm not going to change now. And if you knew what my brand was, you knew what I was, you know how I always look. If this is not what you wanted, then you should not have had me on the network. There's no point in having me on here if you're going to change me to something that I'm not. And I agree with that. They can have racist ass redneck Paula Dean on their network. They can have that melted bubblegum face lady, the redhead that used to live in the city and moved out to the country. They can have her on the network. They can have Big Nose Jada De Laurentiis on there, right? So why can't this black woman be on here with her down home speech and her afro? She's not like she's a minstrel show. She's not buffooning. She's not cooning, but she's basically just a normal black woman, middle-aged black woman with a regular black family. So, there's no controversy, there's no ignorance on the show. So there's really nothing for them to go for. You know what I mean? This is a woman who has been married for, I think she said she's been with her husband for 20 something years, but they've been married for 17 years, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure what the timeline in that, but I know they've been married for a long time. And it's a kind of a blended family, because he had a daughter before they met. And Tabitha kind of took this daughter in, and it's like she treats her like she's her daughter. And then her and her husband had two other kids together, and they just, like I said, have a beautiful family. I've seen several pictures of them, videos of them. I've seen them on social media. Just a normal black family, and just showing how you can be vegan and eat healthy and still eat great food and stuff like that. I think it's a beautiful thing to show on TV, but that doesn't fit the narrative of what white people think of black people. So I guess because this is a black woman with an afro who wears Afrocentric stuff, it's not like she's out there throwing up the black fist or preaching black power on her show. She just is who she is, and I guess that's too much for white folks. It's too black, I guess. So they're already doing the typical sabotage when they move a show around. Once they start moving a show around, that's your average sabotage. But in a way, I don't think it'll hurt Tabitha at all, only because she already had that built-in fan base, and now with streaming, people can watch stuff anytime they want anyway. Like that's the way I've watched the show at all. Anyhow, was watch it through streaming. We don't have regular cable where we watch, Food Network or whatever. We just stream shows on, whatever service that we have. So for us, it's not that big of a deal. But and I like to think for Tabitha Brown, who already had a built-in audience. I mean, Food Network needed her. She doesn't need Food Network. You see what I'm saying? Like, she was bringing in an entirely different demographic, a different audience of black women and vegans to watch their programming, because they don't have any of that barely on that network. But with her on there, they had a whole different audience. So if she goes, they go. So they can mess around with her time slot all they want. It's not hurting her whatsoever. She's going to be all right. But it's these fools right here on Food Network are going to have the problem. I guess those old devils who love Paula Deen and all of her racist ways, they can't take seeing this black woman with an afro, I guess. It's too much for them. If there is a black woman on there, she needs to be working in the kitchen. I think that's the problem too. Like, I'm not dissing this woman, because I like some of the other black women on there too, but they're more of the big girl mammy type stereotype, which is a little bit more easy on the mind for black people. I mean, for white folks when they see black people. Tabitha Brown is not big. She's a normal sized black woman, very pretty with her afro, and it's not like she wears anything revealing either. Like I said, she wears a lot of Afrocentric garb. I guess that's a problem too. So it's just too much for white folks to see her on prime time. They gotta move the show around. So we'll see what happens with it. But once again, like I said, I don't think this woman is in any trouble. She has her own audience. She's always had it. And Food Network is the one that's losing out if they decide to cancel her show or keep moving it around so people can't find it. They're only hurting themselves. They're not hurting her. Anyway, you folks let me know how you feel about it in the comments section. Anyway, Mad Black, and I will be back with my foot on these devils' back.